he was some figure. Mario, to me, in my estimation, was the person who started hip hop in the Bronx. And particularly there was no one else doing what he was doing. I mean, what he was doing, just no one else was doing. So I know I've heard the stories, what they say. I am telling you, Mario does not get enough recognition for being one of the original hip hop artists and to start this hip hop thing. That's why I can't believe where it is now.
Guru, founder of the Black Spades, speaks on King Mario and validate what people in Bronx still have been saying all along. Disco King Mario is one of, if not the father of hip hop. And shout out to the Bronx Hip Hop Oral History Project on YouTube. I watched it. It's 2 hours long, but it's well worth it. And I have on my show Disco King Mario's daughter to explain the same thing and protect his legacy. This is an interview I did with Chip the Mad Hatter, B-Boy, Sasa, and DJ Spades. Make sure y'all check that out. It was very explosive, man. Very entertaining. Y'all gonna like that. But anyway, let's get right to it.
Absolutely. Now you mentioned doo-wop already. Why don't you talk about some of the other music that you heard in the neighborhood?
Well, the doo-wop is happening now while we're in 123. I'm in junior high school. Now we're moving to high school, and here's the doo-wop groups kind of fading out. And we start into, well, I don't know if it was disco, whatever, but we began to create this disco music. And I don't want to say me, because by this time, I'm kind of going ahead. I'm sort of getting older, moving. We're trying to move back into an organizational type spade thing. But then a guy named Mario comes along. 75, I was 6, I think maybe 77. Mario comes to visit one of the first division original Spades. His name is Desi. And he's Desi's cousin. And Mario comes, and Mario is wild. And he's perfect for us because we're wild too, but he's even wilder.
Is it 67?
Yes, I think it's 67. I have to go back and look at my years to get those right, guys. So maybe on the
somewhere
next session.
Somewhere in the late 60s. So.
Yeah. And Mario comes, and now he and I have actually stabbed me. I still got stabbed on my back from Mario because he was really wild. I had to calm him down, and he defied me one day in front of the crew, and I had to grab him when he pulled a knife from me. Stabbed me. I still whipped his ass and took his knife from him, and he went to Carolina for a while, but he came back. By this time he's kind of down, but he was some figure. Mario, to me, in my estimation, was the person who started hip hop in the Bronx. And particularly there was no one else doing what he was doing. I mean, what he was doing, just no one else was doing. So I know I've heard the stories, what they say. I am telling you, Mario does not get enough recognition for being one of the original hip hop artists and to start this hip hop thing. That's why I can't believe where it is now. But he was definitely one of the persons who should be down as, if not the progenitor, the originators of part of that crew. Mario.
Do you recall the types of music and the albums that he played and where he played them at?
He played them in the park. He played them in that school, 123. He played them in 125. He played them in all the big parks, one on Rosedale, the big park in Bronx River. He played in all these disco clubs that were on
Westchester Avenue.
Yeah, Westchester Avenue. The Fever. I believe he did Fever. I believe he was there. I could be wrong. I have to check with my man, Tex D. I don't know if you guys have heard of Tex yet. All right, so Tex he's my partner, and I always try to say I raised those kids, and him and Bambata. But he started playing in all these venues, and then he started getting these crowds following him. And then because he didn't have a lot of money, he was getting money any way he can to build his speakers and get speakers. But he had other people around him that would give their speakers to him because he would go there and he would, he just had a really charismatic way with people, People loved him, what he put out. Plus, he was a handsome guy, so the girls loved him. And then he could dance. He had this dance he did that the women loved. But he was really something. Me and him didn't get along, but that didn't make no difference of talent. The guy was talented.
Sure.
He was courageous, just brave beyond, he should have been a zillionaire somewhere, but unfortunately, drugs took him to. That did most of us.
Do you recall any of the early dances that surrounded any of the Mario events?
Yeah, I used to, about 5 years ago, I could do it for you because I try to stay in shape, but I can't. But it was one, we had the dance where they were spinning.
Right.
So we'd jump down on the floor, we'd spin, and then we'd pop back up. After about 3 or 4 years, that thing went, people started spinning on their heads and spinning on their backs. And it became such an art.
Okay. And it'd be cool for you to talk about those dances and when you're spinning, were they spinning like a top on their feet, on their back?
On their backs, on their heads, not on their feet. The old timers, the James Brown guys. I'm the James Brown guy.
Got it.
I was spinning on my feet.
Yeah.
I could do all that type of stuff. But these guys took it to a new level. And their dances became on the floor.
Listen, everybody. This is the legendary. He's finally getting his flowers, which he should have been had his flowers. We have his flesh and blood daughter, Nina. This is King Disco Mario's flesh and blood daughter. Thank you for coming onto the platform. How you doing, love?
You're welcome. Hi, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good.
Hold on. Let me say this right quick. Because I saw somebody say something about basically, I guess, how is my father first? Wasn't the Brooklyn DJs mobile? If you did your due diligence and paid attention to a documentary they made, even though they was trying to claim like they were first, yeah, y'all might have been first in a certain aspect, but not in hip hop. Number two, they focused on sound. And let me expound on that. They focused on having the loudest set. So they piled like 50 million speakers on top of each other. You call that mobile? That's not mobile. Once you set that up, that's set up. They're heavy as hell. So to me, that's not mobile. You ain't going to be able to just pack that up like that. And you got to have a big ass crew to get all of those speakers from piled up on top of each other. They were doing like almost battles up for the block type thing. They're trying to outblast each other. And when you look at that founding father video that was created by people in Brooklyn, which is good, it still shows you what their focus was on. It wasn't even on a specific type of music. To be honest, they just wanted the loudest set. That's it. So to clear that part up, that's my spill on that. Now that whole crap with Busta and Fat Joe, so annoying. I don't know what's going on with these people in New York, but they making us look bad. And if you're going to say some stuff, at least make it look good. But then you got to think they not even FBA. They both was blending in, but now they get older, and I guess they got a little more bolder with themselves that they just want to come out and claim and put their flag down. All right, be happy of what you were, but you wasn't talking all of that when you first came out. If you're going to be like that, at least be consistent. But you know why you wasn't doing that? Because you was scared that FBA, Black Americans, wouldn't accept you. Point blank, period. You came in like a friend, and now you're trying to steal something or claim something, but you wasn't doing that from the get-go. If you're going to go out like that, you should have started like that. You don't just switch up after everybody likes you and loves your music. Now I got to feel conflicted because you pissing me off.
That's a question.
Even though you was already a little eccentric. And Fat Joe, you can't say it's colorism Cause you claim in one video you black, or you was in the 89% to 99% black neighborhood, and then you want to turn around and say F these niggas. Everybody knows if they look at your history, you only started this whole bullshit between blacks and Puerto Ricans because you wanted to have the right to say nigga. And you know you was already saying nigga in New York. So clearly you wanted to make everybody all over the world agree to say that you could say nigga. And no, it's not going to happen like that. You wasn't satisfied with the past that whoever gave it to you allowed you to say it all this time, but when you got pushback from people in other states saying you shouldn't say it, and then you doubled down on a song saying nigga 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 like 50 million times, he should have been put in his place. But then these people that's older want to sell out and back him up. I don't give a damn he taking you around the world. I don't give a damn if he your friend. That's why you should have put him in his place, because that's your friend. But clearly, you can't put him in his place. So you're going to have his back. No, tell him to stop poking the bear. And that's why he's getting all this bad luck he's getting now. Same with Busta. Right. The only reason why he ain't getting that much steam is I haven't heard his ass double down on it no more. Because if people pay attention, Lord Jamar said he talked to him behind the scenes, that him and Busta talked on the phone. That's why you don't probably hear him saying stuff to that effect out loud anymore. I ain't saying he changed his whole train of thought, but you don't see him running around saying it as much as Joe keep popping out every once in a blue moon. And the only reason why you got brave is because you went to that Walk This Way meeting before they had that march in the Bronx last year, and sat amongst black people and brought that stupid shit up again. You and Crazy Legs. So that emboldened you to talk about it again. He keeps bringing it up. You Spanish people that are mad at black people, y'all need to be mad at him because he keeps bringing the subject up. Him and Busta's the one that started it. I'm tired of y'all arguing with us in the comments or in the videos. It's their fault. Blame it on them because there was never no conversation or no issue before. Take it to the right people. You scared to correct your own person because they got money? But when it's enough of y'all, money don't matter. They lose sponsorships. They lose jobs. They can't go on tour. We have the power. Right. If you don't want us to keep arguing with each other, hold your people accountable.
Facts.
I'm tired of it already.
Yeah. And they keep trying to bring up Grandmaster Cash starting it. No, he did not. He just he had an interview on Vlad, and Vlad was talking about the origin of hip hop, and he was just breaking it down that, it started from, black people, African Americans.
He didn't start that. He didn't start that.
Yeah, I know he didn't. I know he didn't. And this guy, Saint Ephraim, whatever your name is, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, Shalom Bahashim Yahweh Hakudes Israel. I don't know if you're Afro-Latino, then you Israel. If you're a Spaniard, you ain't, Israel. I don't subscribe to the 12-tribe chart. But getting to the point, so we have an understanding. When you're dealing with, you ask about Mario being in the park, right? Mario, we got dated in the parks early 1971, man. Some even go as far as 70.
Hold on, they said Wano spoke for KRS-One. Actually, to my knowledge, he didn't start it, but he's just another person that expounded on it. But he could get shouted out too. I already said something about that too. Y'all act like people scared to say people's fucking name. Yo, you already know he got a temple of hip hop. That's all that love, peace, and happiness. He follows the whole disciple of Bambaataa. Just because he's uplifting her now, let's not forget who he was behind in the beginning. All right? Stop being stupid. He is for everybody inclusion. Yeah. So he's gonna go along with that whole, we started at 50-50. He know that shit ain't right. Look at his own crew. He didn't have Spanish people all through his own crew. Cut it out, yo. Cut it out. Just cut it out. I hate saying people's name, but to think that people scared to say people's name, it ain't like I'm in the business. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. And I love KRS-One. But when
And
people talk about all this unity, black power, all this stuff, and then y'all start selling out or wanting to be peaceful, you could be peaceful and still tell the truth. If your Spanish friend or Caribbean friend don't like you after you telling the truth, then they was never your friend to begin with.
Yep.
Or they need to talk to you and get an understanding of why you even saying what you're saying, instead of just jumping on the side of their own race just because it's their race blindly. It's not even truly a race thing. Because if you respectful and you already in it, or you consider yourself a hip hop baby, ain't nobody gonna kick you out of it. It's the disrespect. Y'all scared that we're gonna shut the door on y'all and kick y'all all out. No, if you in here and you respectful, then you in here. If you got history, nobody could wipe away your history. But if you full of shit, you full of shit. You a full of shit pioneer. And some of them is bumping up their titles because y'all younger people don't even know no better. Some of them are just legends. Some of them are pioneers. And some of them are just other people. They're not all they're cracked up to be. I found out very late, but very early, you cannot praise these people. The most you can do is just like their music. Because the stuff that they saying right now, oh, hell no. Hell no. I can't get behind that. That's some selling out shit. But then again, people are older and they just started getting money instead of getting money when they should have got it, or they had bad deals. So part of me could understand it, but then I wouldn't get on camera and say shit. I would just collect my money. But to come out on camera and turn on your own race, nationality, or the history that you really know to be true is sad. And it shouldn't be tolerated.
And you could tell
by nobody.
You could tell that
nobody.
You could tell that he was lying. And again, no disrespect to Grandmaster Melly Mel, but if we understand body language, we understand how people move, the constant stuttering. It was like you could tell that he was going to fabricate something in his statement before he said it. You know what I'm saying? Verse, if it's true, it's just going to come out simple and plain and pure. It's not going to be, no, you was there, right? And then you say you was the first MC, and you know that ain't true. And then you said these are before these people there was none. You talking about Flash, Bambaataa, Hurt. You know that's a lie. You know it was people before them guys. You knew that. And then all the people that you mentioned, they were all foundational Black Americans. All we are saying is this is an African-American foundational Black American creation. And then I'm saying this is to all the pioneer Hispanic people that's alive. This is for y'all. If y'all know that what we're saying is true, if you keep your mouth shut, then you're a part of the problem. Because y'all not saying nothing. The only ones that said something was Big Pun before he died. You got Cuban Link, he coming out, and then y'all shitting on Cuban Link and trying to make it seem like he's sour against Fat Joe. So he's not being looked at as credible in that sense. And then what other Hispanics you got backs here and there. He say what he say, but who else do you got? All those Hispanics. This is how you know it's a lie. Crazy Legs recanting his statement. Star Child of Rock. All these guys that was originally telling y'all the truth, they changed the narrative. Why won't y'all consider that? Why won't y'all say, damn, but didn't y'all say in all these interviews, this started with Black Americans, and then now all of a sudden y'all saying something different. That y'all don't look at that as suspect, that they all originally, and wouldn't it be more fresh in their mind at the time when they first came in? Wouldn't they? Or that's like if I seen if I see Mike Larry with a red shirt on today, and then 50 years later I say he had on a blue one? Wouldn't it be more fresh in my mind when I first seen him with the shirt on, it being red? So that's the same thing in this argument right here, that we're going to these videos when these old men were young men, and they told you that this was an African-American creation, and now they recant their statement, and then you got this crazy psychopathic Dr. Cologne going on, trolling on everybody's shit, pushing. I'm telling you, a lot of these people are being funded by the government, man, to push these agendas out there to people, so we'll be discombobulated. Remember, nobody's looking at his page. He's looking to see who's talking about. I guarantee you.
He can make a video. Absolutely.
There was a question. Somebody said, do you know that there was a few Puerto Ricans in the Black Spades? So what you think we don't know about DJ Tex Hollywood, who was DJ Disco King?
Yeah, I know it was a few. But I only, from what I know, at least as far as my father's concerned, it was only Tex Hollywood with him. And I believe his brother was in the Spades, but he wasn't part of the DJ crew.
Facts. So he wasn't a part of the Chuck City crew.
Tex Hollywood was, but I think his brother was also a Spade, but he wasn't down with the DJ part of it.
There's another picture.
Facts. That's a fact. And I'm glad that we got you on here, because one of the controversies, right, was that your father is half Puerto Rican. Was your father half Puerto Rican?
No, he's not half Puerto Rican. He's from North Carolina, Edenton, North Carolina.
Right. Because
and the whole controversy is what started making me and other family members talk. We seen other videos, other things discrediting him and all this other stuff, but we was never even bothering with it. You know what I'm saying? But then after a while, it gets ridiculous. So when I was in conversation with the people to do the street signing, I got a call from one of my family members about people saying he was Puerto Rican and asked me, did I know? And I say, yes, I know. But I thought it would blow over and people would stop pushing that lie. But then they were still pushing it. Somebody made over 10 videos saying that he was, and saying that she spoke to family members and that she knew my grandfather and all this other crazy stuff. And I'm like, what? Then you get people going on platforms that get millions of views saying that he's half Puerto Rican. So yeah, we started talking, and now people mad because we're talking.
Facts. And I want to say something, sister, because I think people got it confused. They see the word disco and Disco King Mario's name, so they think he was a disco player. No, he was not a disco player. He was a b-boy DJ player. Back in the days, clubs were known as discotheques. That's it. It don't have nothing to do with him being a disco player. And if you're really talking disco, real disco came around the mid 1975, 1976. When they call people like Grandmaster Flowers, DJ Pete Jones, and all them disco players, they mean DJs that were playing funk music in discotheques. There's a difference between a discotheque DJ versus disco music. And see, y'all not understanding that. So you got those like Grandmaster Flowers in Brooklyn, New York. He's playing funk music in discotheques. And then
hold on 1 minute. For you that's saying nobody cares about Mario, let me put you in your place right quick. My father got a street sign named after him. What does your father have? My father has a certificate of merit listed with 16 trailblazers on it from the Bronx. What does your father have? Like,
see
get
the
out of here with
disrespect.
that. Don't say don't nobody care.
You
And the
see the
museum reached
blatant,
out to me. And then if he gets in the museum, you gonna still say nobody cares?
right?
He has
See, they
a
bury.
a
Let her go.
copy
Let her go.
of a flyer in City Hall, but nobody cares. How you think he got that? Because people do care. Maybe you don't care, maybe you don't know, and maybe everybody that's sticking behind the DJs that they like don't care. But the proof is in the pudding. It don't matter how long it took, it's happening. And more stuff gonna happen too. And you can still say you don't care and be on the wrong side of history if you want to. It don't matter. Then that also shows you're not doing your research, because you would know all of this stuff. Because everything has been
Fact.
filmed and everything has proof out here.
Rick and all that. The original Bronx boys from the baby Spades and the young Spades. That's how they were dressed. Show a picture of your father, put it up there where you see DJ Disco King Mario with the money in his hand and all the young boys in the background waiting. Young
But you
boys.
couldn't tell from the guy that was up there, and this is not a knock on him, but I'm just gonna say what he said. The dancer, the guy with the hat, he
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
like, those were gangsters. Y'all was just over there fighting each other. Y'all wasn't doing nothing. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all. They had a rift between certain sides and certain DJs because they did not like that gangster element, even though it came first.
Right.
They did not like it. They couldn't go over there. You heard him say, well, Herc was more peaceful. That's why more people gathered over there, because they were scared to come to Bronxdale. They were scared to come to that side.
Mm.
And I'm sure when he said he was going, you see how FaZe caught him. He was saying 70 at first. And then he changed the date because after a certain date, it was more peaceful. So it allowed people to move around the Bronx more freely. Y'all gotta like think, not y'all up there, but I'm talking about everybody. Y'all gotta think. If people had a hatred for certain people because of who they was down with, they not gonna lift that name up. But then they can't lie and say they never heard of them if you claim to have got around all over the Bronx. They
And
wiping him out because they did not like that he was gangster. Bambaataa don't really like to talk about him because he don't want to be associated with the gangs because he wanted to push peace. After his friend got killed from a gang war, whatever it was, he did not even want to be associated with that anymore. But the ironic thing is he built up Zulu Nation from the baby Spades.
Yeah.
One of the Zulu masters was Monk. Do you know Monk was in charge of the Black Spades?
That's a fact.
After it changed from being like pro-black and fighting against gangs for racism, protecting the hood, it changed. But he still had one of the people in his crew. Zulu Nation formed from Spades. Because Spades was the foundation of the Zulu Nation. He just didn't have the older ones in there.
That's right.
That's something I think that's something that we need to stick it to.
Y'all want to romanticize and started from 73 from a little carriage room party when they been doing carriage room parties in Bronxdale. Stanley has a paper that predates 73 from having a carriage room party. Y'all need to find him because he has a lot of paperwork. His mother was in charge of the president of the projects in Bronxdale. And he had an aunt that was in charge of another project, I think Patterson or somewhere. So he was getting around. He saw a lot of stuff, even though he was young. Number two, FaZe is not lying. If you don't believe him, then you shouldn't believe nobody, because I feel like a lot of people be putting sauce on their story. A lot of them. But the bottom line is, I'm Mario's daughter. I know FaZe knew him. His own mother said he knew him. And yes, he was young. He didn't say he was old up there DJing. He said my father let them play on his stuff. You know who else he let play? Bambaataa.
Mm.
Because Bambaataa,
That's a
I
fact.
believe, might have been younger than him too.
Can I ask you this
younger
question?
than your father.
Why you think they always coming at? Why you think they're so? I don't want to say so much, but some may question Faye's credibility because at 71 he was a young age. Because I say
Yeah,
I
he was
was young.
11
I was
years old.
outside at a.
Look at the ones that's talking. They younger than him.
Right.
They younger than him.
Right, they're younger than him.
But if you really listen to what he was saying, he said he was younger. He said he was a little drummer boy. He didn't say he was a drummer man.
And he said he was a baby.
But they trying to pick him apart. But he ain't the only one that knows stuff. All on that channel, it's people even older than him talking.
And confirming him.
But they want him to bring the whole Spades. But I'm telling you
look,
now, if somebody come to Bronxdale Projects this summer, they'll be out there because they was out there last year.
But Monk confirmed him. We got videos of Monk confirming him, the leader of the Black
I
Spades.
know he can't not confirm him.
Right. We got Green Eye Genie, Stan, little OG Stan, which is the Green Eye Genie, and Booby, which is DJ Faze. All of them were Baby Spades. Originally, they were known as the Little Rascal. We got Mina right here. If I'm lying, she's going to correct me. Originally, they were called the Little Rascals, and they became absorbed inside of the Black Spades, and they became the very first Baby Spades before any other division. And you know how we know it started in Bronxdale? Because Bronxdale Projects is the first division of the Black Spades. That's
first division, created. And I think it was like 5 or 7 of them that are 0 division, but they still lived in Bronxdale. They just were older. It's like 3 different or 4 different tiers because it was 0 division, first division, then it was Baby Spades and Young Spades or something like that. I think my father might have been in the Young Spades because it was some of them that was a little older than him.
Right.
And I said to people, if you go look for that peace treaty video, it's on YouTube. My father's on the camera. He's on film in the peace treaty.
Right, that's true.
Because people like to reference that too. And how the hell you gonna say my father played after 77 when there's a clip on the Get Down that said, oh, after 77, basically the blackout, everybody think they DJ Mario. Why would they say that if he started playing in 77? It's documented that he played before that.
You talking about the movie, The Blackout? What is it called?
The Get Down.
The Get Down, yeah. And I seen the dude. He said everybody trying to be like DJ Disco King Mark. I seen that clipping, yeah.
Like you people, y'all just be saying anything because it goes along with your narrative of what you want to pass on to try to debunk other people. You come over here and you talk about Tyreek. If you mad at him, go to his page. Stop bringing up stupid subjects to deflect what's going on in the conversation at hand.
Facts. I'm gonna be.
You don't even listen to your own pioneers. You're disrespectful. You don't belong in hip hop because if you don't respect who came before you, then you don't deserve to be in it at all.
Facts. And you know what I'm starting to believe. Hold it before you go. I just want to say this one small thing. I believe personally, and I'm not trying to start nothing. I believe it's a conspiracy, and I believe that there are other sources that are involved, not just people on social media, but I truly believe it's a hidden conspiracy to drag hip hop into a cult to a point where you see hip hop at the day, how it then became so degenerated. But I think the puppets of that became Hurt, Bambaataa, and Flash. But it was mainly Bambaataa who already had some form of knowledge of self, but a lot of the occultic knowledge, and helped drag hip hop into what we see it today. And they had to cut out DJ Disco King Mario to accomplish that.
and he had connections because he was going downtown doing his shows at those those parties and those clubs downtown, whatever. And I feel like somebody in the record business kind of pulled him to the side as
Yeah.
well, and then he pulled in Flash and Herc, and so and then on top of that, again, it's common sense. They coming into a culture that's not theirs, so you dress in a certain way and they clowning you. And so you have to hide or change your accent, like Kirk said, change his accent to fit in, So of course that you can't really be yourself. You have to be other than yourself to fit in. So some of that stuff is subconsciously stuck in your mind. So he got people that's has a common background. So you pretty much my island brother. So I have more in common with you than these African Americans who we have to.
But
so I think they huddled and came up with that shit. Like I really think they huddled.
But even your guest was focused on mostly. If you paid attention, they was mostly naming clubs. Hip hop is a young man's sport for one, and it's a street thing. Why was you not naming the streets, the outside jams? Why was you not naming even different parks? Why was you not naming the venues that nobody could get, that only my father could get? You see, that's a form of erasure. I'm not saying that they personally did it, because like I said, in the Bronx, in New York, period, people align with who they seen the most, who they gravitated to the most, and who they had access to the most. But it is a known fact that my father got to school 123, the Skating Palace, the Audubon Ballroom, different parks. Even when Tupac was a little kid, his cousin is on tape on a YouTube channel saying that he took Tupac to see my father playing more closer to Soundview projects than Bronxdale.
That's crazy. I forgot about that.
And the more and more people come out, people want to try to say like they lying. That doesn't mean they lying. It just means, oh, now people are starting to talk about this person. Oh yeah, I did see him. Oh yeah, I know who that is. There's a little cartoon short about the RZA and I think the Jizza came all the way to Soundview area to see my father play, but his name was only Mario in the beginning. He took that Disco King from somebody else. Because remember, he was in a gang, and he was like, Cool DJ D said, he said to his friend, yo, you ain't no king. You ain't no king over here. Like, give me that name. Like, he took the name, and the kid ain't do nothing because the kid wasn't no fighter.
Right.
Was it right? No. But I'm just telling you the facts. It's just the facts. But that's what I mean about people romanticizing hip hop. It wasn't all kumbaya. It wasn't one nation under a groove at first. It wasn't peaceful.
Absolutely.
And if you look at hip hop now, every state has a street element or a gang type culture involved. And now LA, y'all off the hook because it wasn't even just y'all that even was doing that. Every state got some gritty street element to hip hop in it.
Can I say something? Because you made me really think of this, because and I respect all my people from LA, Chicago, and all that stuff. When they say gangs, the definition of a gang, if there's more than one or a group of people in mischief activities or whatever, or illegal activities, or a group of people. When gangs, just because y'all was doing drive-bys or run-ups or whatever, but mostly drive-bys or whatever, the gang shit or whatever, that don't mean there wasn't no gangs in New York. Gang doesn't mean blue and red. Theirs was gangster posses, was crews that will fucking top just as ruthless as any Chicago gang. So I hate when they say it wasn't no gang in New York. They're trying to downplay New York.
It's a movie called Gangs in New York. The Warriors was based after these gangs in New York.
Exactly. So it's kind of crazy how they trying to downplay New York when it comes to gangs, as if there wasn't no crews.
The only difference, because I don't know the inner workings of those gangs, is that the Spades was formed because of the inspiration of Black Panthers and Nation of Islam. So they were fighting cops, Italian gangs, Puerto Rican gangs, whoever tried to fight them when they tried to do, be free to do what they want, and they would get certain areas and they'd try to chase them out.
Yeah.
So they formed a gang to protect themselves. And then when drugs started coming, they was trying to keep the junkies out and keep people from robbing and stealing people in the neighborhood. And they spread it around. And there is a chapter still today that's, I think, based in Harlem. They just have TBS New Direction.
Hmm.
And it's still out there. They just do work for the community. They're not a fighting gang. They do work for the community now.
A queen.
Back to the basics, basically. They wanted to bring it back to the way it was.
Absolutely. Somebody told me to ask you this question.
Yeah, I just seen that. Go ahead. Y'all, I seen it.
Somebody asked this, the actual, your opinion of the Bronx whole avenue peace meeting and its connection to hip hop.
I feel like that peace treaty played a big part in people being free to go to different areas to see other people, like experience hip hop in other areas. You understand what I'm saying? Like, because by that time, I'm sure people started peeping. Now, they say Bronx that they didn't let people in, but the exception was this. If you were part of the Black Spades and you were a warlord or a leader, they let you in Bronxdale. So you were able to see jams. You was able to get a girlfriend. You was able to move around. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not that nobody didn't see. It was specific people that was able to see. But when the peace treaty happened, anybody that was brave enough could come around because there was no beef. You understand what I'm saying? So now it just wasn't leaders and warlords of other gangs allowed to come in. It was everybody. But this is for all over. Everybody got to move around. And that's the big part of it. Hip hop was happening, right? People was doing jams in their carriage room. People was doing not jam. People was doing parties in their carriage room. People was doing parties outside in the actual project, letting the extension cord out the window, and they would have a little setup outside. And people say, "Oh, why is no pictures and all that?" Remember, this was done by children. Y'all gotta stop. This was done by teenagers. They don't have all that money. They had to be hustling. Whatever hustling they was doing as kids, I don't know, pickpocketing, packing bags. And it is a such thing as packing bags. I didn't do it, but people still do it. It's adults that do it now. So I don't know why people acting dumb like kids was not doing it. They was really doing it a lot in the 80s. So I know they was doing it in the 70s. And they would put their money together and get whatever they wanted to get. New York, depending on your parent, they'll let you roam around mad early. Or if somebody older than you would come and say, "Hey, I'll watch your kid, can they come outside?" The parent will let them go outside. Some of them dudes that's in the Spades said their parents was mad strict on them, but they started still coming outside anyway. Once they hit 13, 12, 13, 14, 15, they were young. They were not grown men. You could look on the film and see they wasn't grown. Some of them in there look older than them, but they were young.
I'll be watching now.
And people, I'm not mad at nobody. I'm just passionate because I'm a child of somebody that they tried to erase because he passed away early and they tried to dismiss him as just a disco DJ. So if the information is new and you're just trying to process it, I apologize if I seem like I'm coming off harsh, but you have to put yourself in my shoes as well. Nobody else is really talking. And me being his oldest child, I felt and took it on to myself to speak finally. You know, I've been seeing these things going around, and I'm like, all right, nobody gonna set this straight. So, or I'm seeing people outside of myself trying to set it straight, but I'm like, it needs to be somebody in his family setting it straight. Yes, my uncle who passed away and one of my cousins has been on film setting stuff straight too, but somebody in the physical form needs to set it straight today. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So y'all don't have to believe me, but y'all have to get on your due diligence and just look for yourself. Like, the stuff I'm saying is not lies, and some of it, yes, is opinions, but the stuff about my father that I know to be true is true. And yes, I was a baby, but I was born in the 70s, and I do have a mother that was with him before. You understand what I'm saying? So to
Right.
totally discredit somebody's child is crazy. And I do have relatives
insane.
that was in his crew.
Hey,
Yeah,
That's all I'm trying to
that's
say.
insane.
And I
hey,
love hip hop, and I don't like these lies coming out of New York. It's making New York look bad. Like, do
Yeah.
y'all be seeing what these other states say? I know New York could have their head on their shoulders and be conceited in their own little world. But no, you cannot let us go outside like that with these people telling lies, doing these whack ass answer backs to people. It's just a whole bunch of crap. We're already not on top right now. But then to have people going on here looking stupid too? No, hell no. You gotta check these people. You gotta check them. You can't stop them. But if you check them enough, either they'll stop talking or they'll change their story back to the way it's supposed to be, the way they said it in the beginning.
Hey, that's perfectly said.